All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to today's live broadcast. My name is Maribeth Chima. I am the convener of the group Parenting Through Mentorship. We're here on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. It's always a pleasure to show up here. Okay. And especially on Thursdays. So today's Thursday, and usually we have PTM Hangout. Okay, it is a session where we come here and we talk about topical subjects that affect us as parents. All right, and today we're going to be talking about how experiences or the experiences that our children have, right, may influence their purpose. So, how experiences may influence your child's purpose. That's what we are talking about today. All right, so if you are here with me, please don't just stay in the background. I would like you to share that you're here. Let's see you in the comments. Thank you. Okay, I see go. All right, so if you're here with me, let me know you're with me. You're welcome, ma'am. Okay, you're welcome, Agogo. All right, so if you're here, please don't just stay in the background. Let us know that you are here. Say something in the comments. We like it when you say something in the comments. It makes it feel like a live broadcast. It's supposed to be engaging and interactive. So let's make it engaging and interactive. That's why we show up here for live sessions. Apart from that, we will just post and we can read and we can like and engage that way. But live sessions, let's come live and then communicate or interact basically. All right, so I'm streaming live from Abuja. So when you come in, let us know where you are streaming or where you are catching or where you're watching us from. All right, and let us know if, of course, you are catching the replay. So let's assume you're not here right now and you're catching the replay. Please let us know in the comments that you are catching the replay. All right, so the goal is to get this done in 1 hour or less than 1 hour. Yep, so let's go right into the meat of the matter. So what are the experiences that our children can have that may end up influencing their purpose? All right, so that's what we're looking at again. Okay, that's what we're looking at again. Please come in. When you come in, don't be in the background. Say something in the comments. Say hello. Let's know you're here so that we can also say hello to you. So the question, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? That question happens to be one of the oldest questions in human existence. And it happens to be the most important one. Like, really, let's think about it. Right? Let's think about it. It's actually the most important question in the world. And why is that? Perhaps because it is not just it's not a secular question per se, or it's not secularly related per se. That question is actually spiritual, if you ask me. Call it biblical, call it religious, call it spiritual, because as parents or as human beings, we know. Hello, I see you, Facebook user. I can't see your name because you haven't allowed StreamYard to let us see your name. But welcome to everyone who's here. All right, so basically, as I was saying, this question is actually spiritual, right? It's spiritual. It's the most important question that you will probably have to ask yourself as a human being at some point, right? Whether you're asking yourself, whether you're making it verbal or it's something that you ask yourself in your subconscious or something like that, right? It is a very important question, isn't it? Because it is spiritual. Scripture tells us that before we were created, before we were conceived by our parents, God created us first. God had already conceived us and had a plan for us, basically. So your purpose or your child's purpose actually precedes you. Basically, it precedes you. So it is a calling. It is something that we have, each of us as human beings have been called to. We have been called to this purpose. Okay, it is something that God requires of us, that we find that purpose. So basically, if you're someone who is interested in finding your purpose or interested in helping your child find his purpose, you're actually doing you're actually doing something that is not secular. You're doing something that is spiritual. You are actually fulfilling God's purpose, or you're actually doing something that God would like you to do. So if you are a parent that is on this path with your child, or you are concerned about your child's purpose, then you are fulfilling God's will. So you are doing something that God has asked you to do. So very, very important that we want to know what our children's purpose are. Very important that we want to help them find that purpose. Very important that it is important to us. Okay. And scripture says that in Colossians chapter 1, verse 16, it says that for everything, absolutely everything above and below, visible and invisible, God started in him and finds its purpose in him. So it is all rooted in God. It is all rooted in God. So that we are talking about purpose and we're going on and on about purpose, it's because we understand that it is a spiritual thing and it is something that we need to do to fulfill what it is that God has asked us to do in the lives of our children. If you've been listening to me, you will know by now that I consider supporting my children. I consider being a parent as as a relationship with God, like a partnership. Yes, that's how I consider it. I consider it a partnership that I have with God, and one that I cannot fail in. Because when you're in a partnership, you want to do your part. You do not want to fail in your partnership. So that's how I consider parenting, and I consider helping my children find what it is that God has created them for. So basically, if you are pursuing this, or you are making this an important thing or a priority in your life, then you are actually doing God's will. All right. So the moment, right, we understand, the moment you understand as a parent and you help your children understand that that they were made for God, right? That they were made for God, and everything about them, right? They were made for God and to achieve what it is that God has created them to achieve. So the moment we get our children to this point, or the moment we get ourselves to this point, then we know that we have arrived. I mean, every other thing will fall into place the moment we can get ourselves to this point, or we can help our children begin to see this point. Then we know that we have arrived, or we know that we are in line with purpose, or with what it is that God has created or called us to do as parents. Okay. So at some point, right, in my search, I'm constantly researching around this area, right? So at some point I came across a review. Okay, I came across Harvard. I came across a Harvard business review, right? An article, Harvard Business Review article, right? And in that article, the psychologist, right, was saying something like that whenever they're supporting, or they're working with people who want to find out what their purpose is, okay, whenever they are working with this kind of people, and they come to this room, like the mind of the, like they're trying to assess the mind of the person. Okay, when they get to that room where they're trying to find out that thing about the person's essence, or that thing about the thing, they're trying to help the person connect with themselves. Okay, one of the places that they try to go to is the person's childhood. Okay, they try to help the person connect with their childhood. So they connect with their passion, their curiosity, their interest at that phase of their lives. And usually when they're able to connect with that aspect of their lives, it gives this person clarity. It gives them clarity about their vision and their purpose. So when I come here every week or every day, okay, when I come here every day and I'm talking about helping your children make baby steps towards their purpose, helping your children find their purpose, helping your children connecting with their purpose, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about, because I know when adults struggle to find their purpose, when adults struggle to answer the question, what is my purpose? Okay, and then they go to they go to experts or professionals. What the professionals do for them is they try to help them go back and connect with their childhood. They take them back to their curiosity as children, their interest as children, and then their passion as children. So if this is what your child is going to have to struggle to connect with many years from now, why then won't we as parents help them connect with that right from today and begin to walk along this line? Very, very important. Okay, so I mentioned that in my search for purpose, or in my research around purpose. Okay, that's why I was talking about the review I just talked about, Harvard review, right? And then in my search, I've also come across people who have the school of thoughts that, no, we shouldn't bother asking about what our purpose is. Some people feel that, right, that there is no need, really. There is no need for that question, what is my purpose? Okay, and I agree with them, right? I agree with them to a huge extent. Okay, so don't go away, just come with me, right? Just hang on there and come with me. So I tell you why I agree with them. Now, so these people have the school of thought that if as a human being you're living an exuberant life, like you're living a vibrant life, right? You're living a vibrant life, you can see tangibly your essence. You can see your essence. You can see tangibly your essence. You can see you can see the things that you have achieved over the years, right? You can see what you've achieved. You can see the people that you have impacted. You can trace your life, and you can connect with what your life has been about. Then there will be no need to ask the question, what is my purpose? So this is why I agree with them, because usually when people ask this question, what is my purpose, it is usually asked from a place of pain. Yes, it is usually asked from a place of pain. It is usually when we have been there and done that, we've struggled in life, we struggled with life, we've done this career, we've jumped to that career and all of that, and nothing is coming together. We can't piece it together. It's not coming together. That's when we begin to ask the question, what is my purpose in life? Okay, in other cases, it's when people have gone through trauma, they've lost a lot, they've lost people in their lives, they've lost so many things and all of that. They get to that point and they begin to ask, as in last, really, what is the essence, what is the purpose of life? So it's because usually that question is asked from a place of pain. That's why these people who have the school of thought actually think, something, if your life is in the right place, if your life is exuberant, if you're living a life that is full, there will be no need to ask these questions. And as I said, I agree with them, because this is what I preach. Without apology, this is what I preach. I am preaching, let's help our children connect with their essence. Let's help our children connect with their purpose. Let's help our children begin to find that thing that God created them for. So imagine that your 10-year-old is already looking out for what it is that God has created him for, okay, and is already walking in that path. Your 10-year-old, your 12-year-old, your teenager, right, your young adult is already thinking, what is thick about me? What am I interested in? Right? What am I interested in? What are my talents? What are my gifts? How can I use these things to impact the world? They're already impacting the world. They're happy about themselves. They feel good about themselves. They understand who they are. Nobody else tells them who they are. They know who they are. They're comfortable in their skin. They're giving back. Okay, at the point that your child is at this point as a 12-year-old, a teenager, or a young adult, why do you think this person will get to the age of 45 and begin to ask themselves, what is my purpose? Your child can look around him and see what it is. You are touching lives. You are changing lives. You're making a difference. You are giving up value. People, you're relevant. Jason, you're relevant. You're connected to your maker. I mean, you have all of this, and then why would you be asking that question? So this is what I am preaching. Let's help our children connect with all of these things early. So they are not asking these questions from a place of pain. They're not asking this question at a point where they are struggling. They're not asking this question, in the late hours of their lives, and then they begin to struggle to connect with this and connect with that and all of that. It so happens that the question or the answer to the question, what is my purpose, becomes more and more difficult as we grow older. Think about it. Okay, think about it. I mean, a person who is asking himself the question at, say, age 22, what is my purpose in life? He has his whole life before him. He has his whole life before him, has his head in the right place, doesn't have all the struggles and all the things that call for your attention, right? When you're much older. So the person is able to have a clearer head to try and connect with what that purpose is, or try and go back to the drawing board, or try and do all of these things that will help him connect and begin to live that purpose. Now, a person who is 50 wakes up and is living this life that he can't put a finger on it. It doesn't make sense to him. And at 50, begins to ask the question, what is my purpose? You will find that this person will struggle more. This person will struggle more because at that point, there are endless limiting beliefs that will be in front of you. Is it what the society is telling you? You're too old. Right? Is it what the society is telling you? You're too old. You're starting too late. There's so many limiting the beliefs that they would have to deal with at that point. I am not saying that you can't even find your purpose at that point. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, because I am your child's advocate, because I am an advocate for every child out there, I am saying as parents, let's help these children not have to deal with these things from a place of pain. Let's help our children come, face to face with the things that they need to come face to face with early enough, so that the rest of their life is not so much trouble. Why nurture a child that will have to fix themselves, right? Why train up a child that will have to do more, right? To do more, to understand or to come to the realization of who they are. We talk about springboard. We talk about, the scripture saying that we should stop inheritance for our children to the third generation, and all of that. Why do we always think that this inheritance that scripture is talking about, or this springboard, why do we always think that this springboard is just education and money? Because the average parent thinks, when I send my children to good schools, and then after they graduate, I give them a car, I'll probably have a house, and I hand that to him. This is it. I have finished giving them a future. I have settled them and all of that. It is more than that. It is deeper than that, actually. If you help your child find out who they are, connect with themselves, be comfortable in their skin, find out what it is that they find fulfillment in, what it is that they do on their own. Nobody is dragging them to do what it is that they were called for. Find them. If we help them find out how it is that they want to impact the world, how it is that they want to make a difference, we help them understand what it takes to give out value, to find themselves, and find that thing within them that they can give off that nobody else can give. If we can help our children come to this place, stability in their emotions and all of that, if we can help our children get to this place, we help them build skills. Right? We help them build skills that they can transform, skills that they can take, and every time they find themselves, they can convert those skills to make them navigate the world around them. We help them create habits that they can sustain, or habits that can last them, and habits that will help them thrive no matter where they find themselves. At this, not much more. I'm not trying to belittle the fact that you're storing up monetary heritage or whatever for your children. I'm not trying to say that's not enough and all of that's not good. Basically, I'm trying to say it's more than that, so that we don't waste all our energy, we don't waste all our time, or disconnecting with our children, not being there, not being present, not supporting them in the right way, and then we console ourselves by saying, I have sent them to very good schools, and I have a house and a car waiting for them. Because last, what is it? You have a house, you have a car, or you have a company where they will come, and then they will come and be a part of, and all of that. We have that. How about more? I mean, there's more than that. That's what I'm trying to say. There is more than that. And the earlier we start thinking from that point of view, or the earlier we start seeing things from that point of view, the better. Okay, the earlier we start, then the better. So today we're going to jump right in and look at 5 areas, right, that we can create experiences. 5 areas that we can create experiences that might end up influencing our children's purpose. Okay, so the big question you want to ask yourself, okay, before you even figure out these areas, or before you look at these areas that I'm going to give you today, is the big question you want to ask yourself is how do I spare my child, or how do I empower my child, right, to live an exuberant life? Right. How do I empower my child so that my child can live an exuberant life? That my child does not wake up at 40, 50, and 60 and is looking back and saying to themselves, what was I even created for? What was it? I mean, what's my purpose in life? How can you help them live that exuberant life that at every point they can say, I know what it is that I am here for. I know what it is that I was created for. I know what it is that I was called to do. It starts with you. So the moment you can ask yourself this question, how can I help them live an exuberant life right from now, or connect with what it takes to live an exuberant life, right? How can I do this? Okay, if you can ask yourself this question, then come along, let's look for answers for those questions. So at the beginning, I said that our purpose was predestined before we were created. Before your child was created, before you were created, God already had a purpose for you. And it is our assignment to find out what that purpose is and to live that purpose. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create experiences for your children on that spiritual level. Okay, you want to create experiences for your children on that spiritual level. Who does your child think he is? I mean, who does your child know he or she is? Who are you, Kamsi? Who are you, Adachuku? Who are you, Biodun? Who are you, Emmanuel? Who are you, Agnes? Who are you? I mean, when your children ask themselves this question, who do they think they are? Who do you make your children know they are? By what the scripture says, or whatever you believe in. So you need to connect who your child is to what God says he is. It is your responsibility as a parent to make your children know who God says they are, who they are. Let your child be comfortable in his skin. Let your child be comfortable knowing who God says he is. If he knows who God says he is, then no man can tell him who he is not, because he knows who God says he is. So how does your child perceive God? Who does your child think that God is? What relationship does your child have with God? What experiences are you creating in that area for your child? Are you practically dragging your child with you to connect with your faith? Or have you created a faith, or have you created a faith or belief that is attractive enough for your child? Are you answering all those questions that they have? Are you answering those questions, or are you saying to them, please keep quiet? Please keep quiet. Don't ask me those questions. How are you serving your God to your child? What experiences are you creating for your child spiritually? Okay, does your child enjoy worshiping with you? When they go with you to church or to mosque or to your shrine or wherever it is that you worship, are they there because they understand why they are there? Do they enjoy it? If you have to drag your children to go to church, if your children do not enjoy worshiping with you, then there is a problem. You need to go back, right? You need to go back and find out why they are not enjoying worshiping with you or going with you. Okay, you need to find out where you missed it, okay, or where they missed it. You need to find out and reconnect right there. Okay, sometimes we make worship difficult as parents. We make it cumbersome. We make it difficult. We drag our children into things way too early. So they begin to see it as a task and they do not learn to connect and to love it from a place of, I understand why I have to do this. Okay? I have had to argue with someone. Anyway, let me not even go there. Okay? But when children begin to do things like, anyway, let me not go there. It depends on what you believe or what you practice. But hey, sometimes we have children begin to fast at a very tender age, right? They begin to fast at a point where they do not understand why they are fasting. So at that point, the child is pretentious about this. I mean, it's pretentious about this thing that you're having him do. Okay? Some of them will probably hide and go and get something to eat when you're not watching because the child sees it as a task. The child needs to, I mean, we need to bring our children to the point where they understand what it is that they are doing. I mean, this is my school of thought. The child has to understand why before the child does it. Okay, so I do not impose things on my children. I explain to my children why. I have conversations with the children about the why. So for everything that we do, I said to someone the other day, there is nothing, absolutely nothing I do with the kids that I don't put a why to before I do it. So if I go today with my son to the market, before we go to the market, there is an outcome that I'm trying to achieve. There is a why to be. That's what being intentional is about. Being intentional is not just, simply, I don't yell at them anymore. I'm not beating them anymore. I'm struggling with that. Okay, because of that, I'm not. It's more than that. Okay, it's more than that. Being intentional means coming to that place in your parenting, right, where you're conscious about every aspect of your parenting. Everything you're doing in your parenting, you're doing it with a consciousness. Okay, so if I say to my son today, we're going to the market tomorrow on Saturday, it's because there is something I want to achieve with that, basically. So for everything you do, there has to be an outcome that you're trying to reach. You have to be that intentional as a parent. So it's still, I mean, for me, I don't know what it is for you, but for me, this is how I look at it. Even in our spirituality or in our spiritual, those rituals that we have in our faith, it is important that the children understand these rituals. It is important that we sell these rituals to them. We explain it to them, we sell it to them, and we wait for them to get to the point where they are ready. It's a better place to teach from. I promise you. It is a better place to teach from when the children understand the why behind it. You go and you nudge them here, nudge them there. Make it attractive enough for the children to say to you, mommy, I want to fast on Saturday, or something like that. It's better when it comes from them as opposed to, okay, in this, and I mean, in children's church, everybody's fasting. I'm not. Anyway, this is my school of thought because I am very big on children loving what they do. Okay, I'm very big on children understanding and loving what it is that they do. Okay, so just last Saturday, I went for a visioning session. Okay, it's half year. So I went for a visioning session and all that. And that day was supposed to be the day my son's day out, his mommy time. So we're supposed to have like mommy's time that day. Okay, so I said to him, I'm going for this visioning class. I mentioned it, okay, when I decided I was going to attend it. Okay, so I mentioned and said to him, it's on the first Saturday, and that's your Saturday, right? So guess what? It's at 9:00 and it will end at 2:00, so we have enough time. I'll come back and we would still do our thing, and all of that. And then he said to me, he was excited. Right? He got excited and was like, vision is like, I get to look at my goals. I get to go back and look at my goals and all of that for the year. Do I get to do that? My half year goal? I'm like, yeah, it could be something like that. And he's like, I'm coming. Is it something that I can come in? I can come to. I'm like, because I had, so basically we ended up going together. We were in that program for 5 hours. I'm not kidding you. We got there at 9:00 and we did not leave that place till we didn't leave that place till after 2, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. For 5 hours, my son was there with adults talking, visioning, close your eyes, visualize, and all of that, goals and all that, having adult conversation and listening to adult conversation. And he was taking notes and all of that. But hey, at every point, I kept on looking at him from the corner of my eyes because he was sitting in the second row. I mean, in the next column, right next to me. And I kept on looking at him from the side of my eyes, just to see. I mean, to see if at some point he was tired and all that, because I had plans. If he gets tired, I'll probably just call daddy and tell his dad and tell him to come and get him or something like that. I had plans like, okay, it's going to be long, but no, not for 1 second was this boy tired or anything. And there was only about a 20 or 20 minutes break in the whole time. But hey, there is another, I mean, apart from the fact that that session was interesting, there was something else. He wanted to be there. He chose to be there. Do you understand? So we need to bring that even to our religion, our religious practice and all of that, or our religious the rituals we do in our faith and all of that. We need to bring that. So we need to create experiences that your children will hold on to, okay, when they meet difficulties along the line. Let the experiences that they have around them, let it be what keeps them. I had a bit of network glitch there. Sorry about that. That's so. Sorry about that. Okay, so I am back. Okay, sorry about that. All right. So yes. So I was talking about experiences. Really, I mean, experiences. Sorry about that. I don't like it when network is like that. All right, let's get right to it. Good. Let's go. All right. So basically, I was saying, we need to create experiences. So while I was researching Victory. Okay, Victory. What's her name? Victory. I can't remember her surname now. The young 17-year-old that had 9 A's, 9 A pluses, and got 19 admission from from universities in the US and in Canada, Ivy League universities inclusive. All right, I found out that she is a child that works in church. In fact, apart from that, even I think House on the Rock, that's her church. The church had a statement. I think it was the pastor's wife or somebody in the church actually, came and claimed their own. She came and claimed their own, like, okay, and Victory is, those of us who know her know that this is not, this is not a fluke. This is it. Basically, so what I found out with this young lady is she works in church. Okay, she does Bible study in church. She works in church. Okay, so basically, we need to create experiences around our faith, right, around our beliefs in our religion and all of that, so that our children can have experiences in that area that they can connect to, that they can hold on to. and you don't know. It might just be the reason, okay? It might just be the reason why your child wakes up one day and wants to be a pastor. It might just be the reason why your child wakes up, in his why as part of his purpose, he's doing so much in church. Okay, it might just be the reason. It might be the reason why your child connects you in a special way in that area. All right, so that's it for that area. So the next area is the next one is you want to create experiences around lifelong learning. See, if our children, the most important thing you can do for your child today as a parent is groom your children, train your children to be people who love to learn, to be people who love learning. During our conference, all right, the Baby Steps to Purpose conference, it was okay. The young man, the 21-year-old young man who was there, who was one of the facilitators, Uki Enum, he actually said to parents, whatever you can do to make your child tech savvy, by all means do it. Help your children become tech savvy. They don't have to be, they don't, they don't have to, they don't all have to be computer scientists. They don't all have to be graphic designers. They don't even have to take it as a profession. But whatever it is, let them have solid knowledge in that area. Because the way the world is going, or where it is that we're moving to, a child who isn't tech savvy will feel lost at some point. Why am I saying a child? Look at you yourself. Let's look at us. For those of us that are really not, into the tech world, and for some of us who are online people, and you're not savvy to an extent, you will find that sometimes you feel lost. Sometimes I actually feel lost. Sometimes, I have to pay so much to get people to do certain things for me just because I don't have the knowledge along that line. In these areas and all that. And hey, I am not that bad. There are people who are worse, right? Hi, I can see your name. Hello, you too. Okay. All right. So there are people who are worse than me. There are people who are completely lost when you just bring in tech into anything. Now imagine 10, 20 years from now. Even the experts say what technology will be like in the next 10 or 20 years. We cannot even picture it yet. We can't picture it. We're at a point where we're talking, people are creating spacecraft that people will just travel and go and chill in Mars. We're at a point where people are already talking about lifting people to another planet. Okay? We're talking AI, and we're talking all of this intelligence, artificial intelligence, and all of this intelligence, and your child is still at the point where he doesn't know how to navigate around Microsoft, or he doesn't even know where the mouse is on the computer. Or the most that he knows is just what he does in his ICT class, where they go and basically. So no, you can't do that to your child at this point. So that's what the young man advised. Whatever you do, make your children tech savvy. But I am even saying, whatever you do, make your children be people who enjoy learning, who love learning. Let them learn. Let them enjoy learning. Okay, let them just love to learn. When they love to learn, when they enjoy learning, they are like a garden that is rich, a garden that the soil is rich. When the garden is rich, or the soil in the garden is rich, it's a matter of time. Whatever you plant there will grow and it will bloom. Okay? So basically, create the atmosphere in your home where learning is encouraged. Okay? I am big on creating a stimulating environment. I think in February or March, we went through a journey with a number of parents to help them create a stimulating environment in their home. Okay, we did that course. We did it for a whole 3 weeks. We were working with these parents, giving them tools every day to create a stimulating environment in their home so that their children enjoy to learn. Apart from that, we did another course, how to help your child cultivate the habit of reading. Reading is a major thing. If your child does not love to read, does not enjoy to read, I beg you today, do everything that you can do to help your child learn or love to read. Because, hey, whatever you want to learn in this world, whatever you want to teach your child in this world, all you need to do is get a book that is on that subject, and that learning will start. My son and I have been He's 11, so we have upped our puberty conversation. We've upped our sex conversations. Okay, so we've upped our sex conversations. We are at the point where we're talking about LGBTQ. We're talking about masturbation. We're talking about masturbation, LGBTQ. We're talking about pornography. We're talking about all of these things. Now, the way I went, or the route I went, so that I am not all over the place, I am not vague, I am not an expert in this area. So I can't say I can come take the topic and then digest it or deal with the topic, on my own. So what did I do? I got books. So we're reading these books together. Okay, we share this book. We're co-reading this book. So we read aloud. Is either reading aloud or I'm reading aloud. But because most times we read when we're on our way to school, the drive to school is long. So I enjoy it. We both savage that drive to school. So we drive for about 15 minutes or so to school. Okay, sometimes it can be less, but we take our time and we cruise because we're reading a book. So he reads and we can talk about the book afterwards because he enjoys reading, because he loves to read. So whatever you do, if your children are young, okay, whatever you can do so that you don't even have to struggle with it. Your 1-year-old, your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old, please get to read already. If they are teenagers, it may be a bit difficult, but look for everything. Be creative. Look for ways that you can make it happen. We have a guide in the academy, okay? We have a guide in the academy that will help you. With 1,500 naira, you can get that guide from our website, the academy. Or you just let me know you want the guide in the comments, and I will let you have the guide. The guide will help you to guide you through a 10 or 14 days journey, helping your child cultivate the habit. So you can use that as the beginning point, and then you can take it from there. It has tools, it has activities and all of that you can do with the child, how to go about it to help your child cultivate the habits of learning. Apart from that, we have a full robust course. I think that course is going to come next month or in 2 months' time. But you can just get the guide and start with the guide already and help your child cultivate the habit. We also have the guide for creating a stimulating environment in your home. You can take that guide and use it to start putting things in place in your home to create a stimulating environment, a robust environment. So what experiences are you creating in your child's learning? What experiences, what books are your children reading? What books are your children reading? What is the activity around book? In my home, we buy books for every month. We go shopping for the books. So we go in the car, we have snacks, we're playing music, we drive, we're going to the store, we're picking our books. It is an experience. What experience are you creating around learning, creating and stimulating environment? When you go with your children to the zoo, that's experience you're creating around learning. When you go with your children to a museum, okay, some of us will travel abroad. When we travel abroad, all we do is go to the stores. Okay, we go to high streets and we go to stores and restaurants. That's all we do. That's what traveling abroad is to us. We will go to restaurants and eat food, and then we go to stores and buy canvas and buy things like that, and that's it. And then we visit people. That's it. When we step into a city, we step into the city based on the monumental things that are there, historic things and all of that, where you can create learning. So the next time you're traveling, please research where you're going and research the things that are special about that place, and please let your children experience it. When we say our children are well traveled, it's not that they've entered planes 100 times in their life and that they've gone to Fubu shop and gone to Nike shop and gone to Arsenal Basically, let it be rich, let the experience be rich. Okay, let them visit places that will add to their general knowledge. Basically, what experiences are you creating in the line of learning? Okay, what experiences? I mean, I went with my child to a visioning session. That's experiences. That's an experience that I've created there. You will always remember that the first adult seminar is not the first we're going together. Anyway, but he will remember that his first visioning session, okay, with, I mean, he will remember that experience. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So, what experiences are you, I mean, are you creating? Go with your children to musical concerts that is not go to go music. You go to concerts where you have like classical and things like that. Create experiences that will leave your children equipped, intellectually or academically or whatever. Create those kind of experiences. Go to libraries. If you're in a country where you can go to a library together, by all means go to a library together. Go to zoos together. Go to places and create learning experiences. Bring your children to the office once in a while. Take them to your workplace. Let them see what you do. Go on excursions with your children. Okay, when I'm invited to radio or TV stations, I make that a field trip for my children, but for my daughter, especially because I homeschool her. So I go with her, and while we're there, we take a tour. Okay, sometimes we even ask the person there, a staff there, and ask questions, and then I ask them if they can give us a tour. They give us a tour. She knows everything. So my daughter practically knows what it takes to have people on TV at home. So when she sees people on TV at home, she has an idea how that whole thing pans together. Take them for experiments. Create experiments on your own. Okay, create experiments on your own and have those experiences with the children. Don't let learning moments or teachable moments get away from you. Create. Go ahead and create. See, when you're an intentional parent, you don't wait for things to happen to you. You create them. You look for an area of learning that you want your children to achieve and create an experience along that line so that your children are constantly learning. Make them curious. Make them curious. Let curiosity be a thing that you have in your relationship. So at every time they find something new, at every point they make a new discovery, they are excited to come and tell you about it. My daughter said to me today, what was that thing she said to me today? What was it she said to me today? She said to me, yes, she said to me today that, do you know that the highest mountain is Mount Everest, right? But that's not the highest mountain, when you look at it from sea level. My daughter is 5. So she said from sea level, the highest mountain is Mount Kilimanjaro. But from surface level, the highest mountain is Mount Everest. So I'm like, oh, okay. Even I cannot remember that part of, even I cannot remember that part of geography. I'm like, oh, really? And all of that, basically. And I'm like, where did you get that from? She said she saw it in the encyclopedia and all that. I will still go back and check and be sure that that information is absolutely correct. So, but basically, let your children, my house, if you come to my house, the kids have at least between 5 and 10 encyclopedia, like between 5 and 10 encyclopedia. Like, just go there, scatter yourself with knowledge, just keep having knowledge and all of that. So create experiences along this line. Okay, we're running out of time. So the next one we want to create experiences around their interest and talent and all of that. I have talked about this one exhaustively. I've talked about this over and over. If you know me, this is what I am about. So you want to look out. In my new book, Mentor Parents, How to Help Your Child Find Purpose. Amazing book. See, you can't be a parent that has listened to me or heard my voice before and you don't get this book. In fact, if you know anybody that is a parent that wants to support their child, then you need to get this book for them. It's up for pre-order right now, 4,500 naira for the adult version and the child's version. My son has put together something he calls it his 10 years, his first decade experience. So basically, he's put his struggles and all of that, the things, all the stories I tell you, we practically have them in these 2 books and all of that. Our experience, our everyday life, our struggles, how we learned different skills, different habits. Okay, we put the story out there of how we struggled and then achieved it and all of that. Amazing compilation, not because I wrote it, but amazing compilation. Anyway, so basically, right? All right, so basically, you want to. So in that book, I wrote about how when my son is almost 12. So when my son was born and all of that, I'd reached the point and I knew that I wanted him to find, I was going to let him find himself, know who he is, and come to the fullness of who he is. I was ready to have a wholesome child, even at the point where I didn't know much about discipline. I didn't know much about a lot of other things. I didn't even have my spiritual position, right. But I knew that I wanted my child to find himself, know himself, and come to the fullness of who he is. I mean, it was from that point, that was my first connection with parenting intentionally. From there, I started knowing and getting knowledge in other areas. I went to seek knowledge in other areas, basically. And this is one thing we all need to learn to do. Learn to seek knowledge in parenting. If anyone has told you that parenting comes freely, if you have anyone around you that tells you, parenting, all this thing they keep saying, the person is doing you a disservice, I promise you. Parenting is something you need to learn. Parenting is something you need to put your time and energy into knowing. When you do, your result or your outcome can never be the same as a result of these people who keep telling you, these people, their own is too much, I promise you. I am a parent coach, but if I tell you the number of courses that I take, if I tell you the number of webinars that I sit here on my computer that other people deliver and I go and sit to learn, if I tell you the number of programs that other coaches have that I connect with, let me not just see that I have a need in that area, or let me not just see that I don't have all the information in that area. I will pay and I will attend. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Every time you feel there is something to learn here, please, by all means, go learn it. Very important. It is worth doing for our children. When we buy them Nike shoes and buy them Ralph Lauren shirts and all that, we buy it with all of our hearts. We spend a lot of money buying these things. Then why not? Why shouldn't we spend money knowing how to understand them and how to help them come to their fullness or their wholesomeness, basically? Why won't we do that? Okay, so basically, what I did is I started watching my child. I started looking out. I wanted to see what he was interested in. I wanted to see what he loved. I wanted to see the things that he paid attention to, or the things that took most of his time while he's playing. I allowed him play like crazy. Oh no, when my son was a child, when he was a toddler, he played crazy. He played like play was a thing. Play was our priority. Okay, I would throw loose parts around so that I would see him try to create something with those loose parts. I allowed him, I would put bottles there. I just make it hard ones that he cannot break. I would let him toss them around because he was creative, he was curious, trying to find out how these things work. I wanted him to figure out on his own how these things work. I would create obstacle courses around the house. He would have to go over some, navigate around. It was fun and it was exciting. I did all of these things, and in all of this, I was watching out to see where he pitched or where it is that he was interested. And I was able to find out at different points what it is. At every point that I find out what it is that he loved and is interested in, I created experiences around that area. I would create experiences around that area. I would buy him toys around that thing. Okay, so the first thing that we noticed that our son loved was cars. So everything became cars. I'll buy him a bag, is a bag that has cars. I'll buy him cars. He wanted stuff to build his own cars. I mean, every carton in the house, as I'm removing, I'm going it and stacking it for him in his place where he has his valuables. That time, I'll make it a pretty place where I will keep it for him neatly so that he learns neatness even while he's doing all of this. And then I was deliberate like that, So we helped him. He will sit down there and watch a documentary with his father around cars. When next you meet my son, tell him to tell you how the engine of the car works. He will tell you all of that, how the engine of a car works, how a plane takes off. He knows all that nitty gritty because it was something that he was interested in at the time. He was interested in it. He even got to a point, he designed a company. He was going to have, I can remember, Alltrack, something like that. He had a company. If you ask him for a long time, even now, he still says he wants to be an auto engineer because that was his first interest. Hey, remember, I didn't name it. I didn't call it a name. I didn't say this is what he is. I didn't start calling him engineer. No, I just created experiences for him along this line. I would take him to, what is this place that is no more in Abuja? The park, basically. What's that? The park, anyway, where he just so he can go and ride in those cars. Basically, I created experiences around that. At some point, my son knew every brand of car because he would look at the logo and all of that. So basically, I created experiences for him along those lines. So you want to do that for your children, whatever they're interested in. Blow it up and create experiences for them along that line. Create experiences, let them connect, let them connect, let them connect. That is your part. Your part is to create the experiences so that your children will connect and all that. If they stay there, that's fine. I mean, I can't say today that my son is still into cars because I don't hear more of cars anymore. He couldn't be bothered really if a car is Porsche or is not Porsche and all that. He has other interests. He's more interested in computers right now. So he's more interested in computers right now and all that. He's more interested in computers and all of that than he is of cars. So you see, I didn't say nothing. At some point, there are experiences that he probably will be able to connect to sometime in the future. He could come back, that interest could come back, and there's a place to connect with and take it from there because he's gotten a lot of experiences around that area. So you see what I'm saying? So create experiences in the area of their interest. If they continue in that area, bring in experts. Okay? If the child continues in that area, bring him a coach. Let someone coach him. Bring him a mentor. Someone that is doing well in that area, let the person mentor him. Okay? Let him go on like that and like that and like that. If the child gets tired and moves away, that's fine. But a lot of times, you see, when we put the energy around it, we will find that they stay on. Go and ask Serena Williams and Venice. Go and ask their parents. Okay? Venus and Serena, go and ask their father. And then he will tell you about how, creating experiences and hanging on there, okay, will make the child become an expert in that area. It's all about neurons and creating path, sharpening that path, and with time, the person becomes an expert in that area. Okay? The last two is emotional stability. Whatever you do, please teach your children emotional intelligence. Teach your children. Let your children become stable emotionally. Let your children know who they are. I remember what Bola. Okay, Bola during the conference said that her mother taught her that whatever it is in this life, she should never put people in the place where she, I can't remember how she said it, but basically paraphrased, okay, she should never put people in a position where without them she cannot exist. That is from a mother to a child. We need to create beliefs like that. We need to create empowering beliefs like that and help our children build their emotional stability. Teach your children how to regulate. Teach your children how to rise up in the face of difficulties. When they fall, teach them to rise up. So what I do with my children is this. I say to them from a very early age, yes is an answer, no is an answer. Any one of them you get is just fine. So when my 5-year-old comes to me, she comes to me knowing that she will get either of two answers, a yes or a no. If she gets a no, she will stay on. My daughter is a great negotiator, right? And it did not come, she didn't fall as that. It was because we trained them to negotiate. Convince me why I should do this or give you this or allow you have this. You need to learn to convince me about it. Okay? You need to learn to convince me about it. Okay? So she will come and then you say no. She will try 1 or 2 times to see if she can convince you to say differently. Mommy, please, if you do it, I will this and that. By the time she gets it a second time, she goes like, oh, well, and then she goes. She's not happy. She is sad, perhaps, and everything. But she's been trained not to even throw a tantrum about it. We didn't get here in one day. She's 5. We've dealt with this since she was 1. We've dealt with it since she was 1, and we've trained that habit over and over again. So no, we don't have a full-blown tantrum, scattering everywhere and scattering and everything just because you got a no. No, we don't do that here. It is what you train, what you want. I said every aspect in your parenting becomes deliberate, becomes intentional. You don't leave anything to chance. Okay, she said to my son the other day, just 2 days ago, okay, she was watching TV on Saturday or Sunday, sorry, and I think the DSTV showed 2 days before the subscription is over or something like that, and then they don't watch TV throughout the week. So yesterday she said to her brother, guess what? The DSTV has expired. And he said, how do you know? How did you know? Or something like that. Then she was like, oh, okay, I saw it on Sunday when I was watching TV. And then he turned to her and he said, who cares? Like, as in, who cares whether DSTV is expired or not expired? Like, I don't even. Basically. So basically, it's as simple as that. So get the children to the point where they're not so emotional about anything. It's okay, don't destroy their emotions. Emotions are very important. Let them know that emotions are important, emotions are beautiful and all that. It's what we do with the emotions that counts. It's what we do with those emotions. So they can be angry, they can be sad, they can be happy, they can be all of that. What are you going to do with that emotion? We need to train them to deal with each of these emotions by making sure that we connect with each of their emotions, stay in that emotion with them, and help them navigate that emotion. Very, very key. I wish I could talk more about this, but there's no time. We have to go. And then the next one, whatever you do, parents, teach your children about impact. Your children need to know that whatever they have in this life, whatever, call it, affluence, call it talent, call it gift, call it whatever, stability, riches, whatever it is that they have, let them know that they were created and they were given these things so that they can use it to impact other people. Teach your children impact from the word go. Let your children know that they were created to make a difference in this world. They were created to find problems, solve problems. So this is how my children think about money. They think that you get money when you are able to solve a problem. So when you when you find a problem, you solve the problem, it means that you are giving up value. And when you are giving up value, you will get rewarded for that value. And they know that the reward could be in many ways. They know that that reward could be a sincere thank you, God bless you from someone. They know that at some point the reward that they will get is influence, right? Is influence and relevance. They know that for some people, they will be relevant and they will have influence. That is why they know that leadership is a very, very, very important part of our values, okay, in our home. So they know that leadership is very important because when you are a leader, you don't necessarily have to be paid, okay. What your leadership does is it brings you relevance, okay. It brings you relevance and you are able to get more people that you can serve and you can impact. So they know that, okay, and they know that another way that your value can be rewarded is that you are paid. So when you have something that people need, they will pay you for it. And as they keep paying you for it, and you keep giving up value, and you keep paying you for it, you will become wealthy. So this is how my children view wealth. Now, wealth is something that will be done or you would have when you give off enough value. So they know also that people will gift you at some point because they should also gift people. When they value people and they value the things that the people do, they will gift the people. So when they create value, they create so much value and other people value the things that they do or the things that they create or the things that they do, they would probably gift them. So no, I'm not opposed to choose, because somebody will say, okay, are you trying to say to your children that people will not gift them, they have to work for everything? No, they have to know that they need to give up value so that at every point someone comes and just comes and shines something, put something shiny in their face, or someone comes and is gifting them things and they don't know where it's coming from, they can question it. Basically, so my daughter at 18 should be able to question why a young man or one old man or one man somewhere has just come, brought a car and dropped it for her. She doesn't know him, no connection, no nothing. I just see you, you look pretty, and then he hands you. She should be able to ask questions because, hey, she knows that, hey, you must have given off some level of value for someone to want to gift you that. So what is it that you have done for this person, basically? All right, so that is the size of it today. I was hoping we could do this in 1 hour, but because of that glitch, okay, so it's about 1 hour, 13 minutes. So thank you very much, everyone. Have you ordered for Mentor Parents, how to support your child to find purpose? Okay, so you see all these things I've been talking about here today, right there in the book. Okay, it's all there in the book. I am teaching you from the book. Okay, it's all right there in the book, right there in the book, how you can support your children, how you want to go about supporting your children. There is a way. Parents, this is my message. This is the message of this book. There is a way. This is the narrative around this book. There is a way to parent you, also support your child to wholesomeness. There is a way to support your child to stand out in the pack in a world where there's a lot of craziness. There is a way to support your child to stand out. There is a way to support your child that your child knows who he is. That even when the whole world is vibrating with a particular notion, a particular mindset, your child knows who he is and he can stand for who he is no matter what. There is a way to parent that way, and there's a way to support your child to this place, and this is what I offer you in Mentor Parents, how to support your child to find purpose. Okay, and because I am very big on the children also, we have not just provided something for you to read as a parent, we have created something. My son has put together his experiences, how he has been supported in this last 10 years, how he struggled, how he came in and how he came in to provide the support that he needs at every point, and how he has made successes, how he has fallen. All of it, don't worry, it's not fakeness. It's not coming here to say to you, oh, he has it all, we're all perfect. No, there's a failure, there's a success, and how we have navigated or that sort of the failures and turned them into successes, or how we are still on that journey. So it's his process, basically. Okay, that's what this book. So you can still get these two books right now for 4,500 naira. It's still on pre-order till the next 2 weeks. After that, it becomes 6,500 naira. So no, I don't want you to pay more when you can pay less. And our other book, Bedtime Stories for Champions, right? So we have the first volume of Bedtime Stories for Champions. Okay, we still have it. Amazing book, inspiring stories. Okay, the number 3 I was talking about, to help your children, number 5 even, help your children see themselves as people that are called to impact. So these to impact. So in this book, it's all inspirational stories of young people who are already impacting the world. Let your child read this book and your child will understand impact and why he has to start impacting the world. Okay, then there is also our planner. With this you can plan your child, you can create plans for your child in the next 18 years, what you're going to do with your child at every phase of their life, what you're doing with them, milestones, milestones you have, that thing you hear white people, you hear them say, oh, when I was a kindergarten, this happened, this happened, this happened. Don't worry, it's not because their brain is too sharp. It's because their parents have planners or journals like this, that they journal these things, they have these records, and at some point, these children they hand it to them. So they can practically see all that went on in their life, and they can have this as a document for keepsake. I made it very durable for that purpose. You use it for a whole 18 to 20 years, and you can hand it to your child, and it becomes a memory, or it even becomes, some reference kind of book where your child can go back to and see what you did when they are struggling with their own kids. Okay, and then this is the journal. The journal is your day-to-day plan. Okay, so it helps you to create plans, your everyday plans to work with your children along 7 areas of learning. Okay, so this journal is for 2,000, this is for 3,000, and that's for 3,000. And guess what? You can get this journal by just inviting friends to the group. So go ahead and invite 30 friends to the group, and then put done, and we will see how your journal gets to you. Amazing book. Each of my kids have a journal. I have a journal for each of the kids, so you can do that too. So thank you very much, everyone. I cannot see your names. I can't see your names to say thank you to you individually because StreamYard is not showing me your name. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of this session. Thank you for allowing us come in and be a part of your parenting journey. Okay, we do not take it for granted. So have a lovely, lovely, lovely evening and the rest of the weekend. All right, then. Thank you very much. My name is Maribeth Chima again. I am the convener of the group parenting through mentorship, and I'm signing out. Have a lovely evening. Bye. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.